Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and thanks for joining us. Let me just click on here because I want to make sure that we share this Facebook Live. And for some reason I forgot to, yeah, there it is. It's live, and we're going to just hit this, share, and we hit right post.
Let me just click on here.
There I am.
I want to make sure that we
Imagine how you can watch from anywhere. It is amazing. You can watch this from anywhere, literally, in the world. And who'd have thunk, huh? When I was saying last week, we were having a little conversation, and I was talking about the first time we did like this, our inauguration speech event, and we streamed it. I don't even know how many years ago it was, but it was the most. So people were like trying to listen to it on their phone, and it was all hodgepodge, but they could hear little bits of it. And it reminded me almost of the first days of radio when people would, you know, the reception would go in and out, and there'd be a little bit of static at the end. And look at now. I mean, just crystal clear and from anywhere in the world. Anyway, our phone number hasn't changed. It's 978-534-1626. And we'll take your calls today. We have lots to talk about. Just so you know, if we spent about a week just on the phone, and what a staff. I have the best crew anywhere, and they just relentless, called everybody we possibly could, hundreds of people, citizens in Leominster that are over 75, and we reach people that are 100 and 95 and 96, A, to check on them to make sure that they're okay, B, to see whether they had all the information they needed about the vaccine, C, whether or not they wanted the vaccine, and D, can we register them for the vaccine. And so today, about a little after 12 or so, we finally got the link and permission to working with Fitchburg, the city of Fitchburg, to do about 300 and, you know, just under 400 vaccines. So Fitchburg's a little bit different. We're targeting 75 and older. And so if you get a phone call, or a loved one or a friend or a neighbor gets a phone call and it shows up mayor's office or some phone number, it's not a scam. Answer the phone, and we will register you right there. You don't have to do it. I did a few today, and I can see where it could get tricky for some people. I needed to do a couple to pick up on it, and then after that, I just flew through it. But just so you know, you know, our intent was to get people in who just would have a difficult time, and rightfully so, get them signed up. So tomorrow at the mall, so if you know anybody, by all means, make sure they answer the phone. Speaking of answer the phone, and the sun rises so early in the morning now and lasts so late in the day that you know that golf is just around the corner, but even the introduction, no less, to the Art Report. Mr. Art, are you there?
We are here.
On the phone and on the move. It's Art Bartlett.
Congratulations on the effort to get people knocked. I got mine yesterday at Leominster Hospital. Well organized, no wait, in and out by 8:15. That included a 15-minute wait after we took the shot.
Yeah, observation. Yeah,
but I'll tell you, I found out today. Now you know I have a classic. My vehicle's 23 years old. My hot rod. So I'm looking at the keys today, and the on-off for the lock, the white is all worn off them. Then I realized there must be a battery in there. I've never changed it in 23 years.
Wow.
I got it apart, and there it was, one of those little disc batteries from Sony. I went to the hardware store. I got two of them because I got a backup set. I changed both of them, and the only way I found out, I went to lock the truck, and it took a while to work, and I said, uh-oh. Then I realized I got batteries, and I took it apart. So the moral of the story is, especially with the little round discs, the packaging, it says childproof. I needed a stick of dynamite, a come along, vice grips, and a knife to get at the battery when I got it home. Oh, well, they seal them things up.
Well, rightfully so. You saw the story about an infant that swallowed one of those small batteries. They have 4,000 kids a year, and she passed away from it. And it's a really horrible story, but the reality is, you know, it's hard for us to get in it, and I guess that's a good thing because, again, 4,000 kids swallow those things a year.
I couldn't agree with you more. That was what my next point was. We have to protect the kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, my hands aren't moving like they used to. And I did some stupid stuff trying to open it. All I had to do was really get a pair of scissors.
Right.
But no, I had to do it in the workshop, and I missed the cool.
Well, that's why everybody goes down. Those people that were in the kiosk down at the mall, and they're lens crafters, they moved over to Sac Boulevard where Comaquito is, and they took a space there. I'm one of those guys that's like, look, I'm not going to take my finger out with a screwdriver. Here's the item. Could you please replace it? It's well worth the money as far as I'm concerned. And they replaced it for you.
It is. And I'll tell you something. The other night in the wind, I thought I heard a noise, but I didn't get up because it's windy. So we went out today. We were out for about 5 hours this morning. Come home. I look up on the walkway, which I never look up there unless I'm on a snowball. Because I have 2 snowblowers, one for the driveway, one for the walk.
Wait a minute.
The tire is missing off my snowball.
How did that happen?
Then I look, and there's the rim is dented, and it's laying on the side.
Yeah.
Someone,
No.
and there was a chalk block, and it was moved. So I think that noise the other night was someone trying to get a tire.
Come on.
I didn't get up. I didn't go look. What happened to my snowblower tire is it absolutely had to be tampered with. It cannot be done. I mean, the rim is a heavy-duty plastic. It's in 4 pieces. And I could see little edges on the rim, where it looks like it was hit.
This is crazy.
If they're listening, come on back. I got something for you.
Luke Connery's Luke Connery says, this is riveting. He finds it.
Well, you want to see something riveting?
What?
It's him trying to swing at a golf ball.
He says, that's a good one. He goes, this is riveting. In other words, this is pain. He's listening to this. This is painful.
Every word.
That's okay.
Every word.
Hey, it's all right, Luke. That's all right.
He follows me like a stray dog when he sees a sandwich in my golf cart.
Yeah, does he? Gets all excited because he knows it's something good.
Yes, and having said that, I'd just like to send out a blessing to my co-host partner on EIM's radio when we did racing, Dave Clark, who we lost last week.
Oh, poor Dave. What a nice man, huh?
He ran the board. We had a lot of fun.
City councilor. He worked at Fitchburg State University. What a nice man. I love talking to him.
Yeah.
He could fix anything. He could fix, or he'd bring it to the kids and they fix it. Yeah, too bad. I think he had like some dementia or Alzheimer's, and then he had a heart problem, and that just couldn't recover from it. Too bad. Nice guy.
Yeah, he is. He was. No question about it. And if Luke Connery is still listening,
get ready, Luke.
There's just the words I cannot describe.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to.
It's fair game now. Fair game. Go ahead.
A visual is him coming out of Market Basket with groceries.
I got it.
I've never seen anybody try to eat through a box of cereal before they got to the car.
Hey, the man understands that every minute counts, and he could get picked off by a UPS truck, and it'd be all over. He would never get all of those Lucky Charms out of the Fruit Loops there, or whatever they call them, Lucky Charms, the marshmallows.
The truck either.
He's picking through the marshmallows, huh?
Anyway, I don't want to
Too much.
He's a Marine.
This is riveting. He said. That's what the show is. Wayne Tate. Wayne's back there on the controls. I've been looking for 28 years How to describe this show? It's riveting, he said. Riveting. Too much, huh?
See you later.
All right, buddy. That's Art from the Art Report. Phone number here, 978-534-1626. My name is Dean Mazzarella. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with Joe Quinn because, well, we always have a once-a-year visit from Joe when we talk about weights and measurements, and it is much more than riveting. We'll be back.
We're so excited. We're bringing you another act of kindness here in Leominster. Many going around, but we did find one special one that goes along with what we're talking about this month, and I guess every month. Mrs. Bradford?
Every month is a kindness month.
Every month is a kindness month, and every month is a reading month.
Yes.
So we've got two very special things to talk about. Deanne Besnia and her husband Dave put in the first little free library in Leominster.
Hello, my name is Deanne Besnia, and this is my little free library. Little free libraries began when a gentleman wanted to honor his mother, and so he built a little library box and put it outside of her house. She was a retired teacher and she loved to read. And he found the neighbors liked it. People liked to stop by and take a book or put a book in. And so people would ask him to build them one. So he did. And it kind of grew from there. Then about a year later,
There you go. That's the story. Well, we'll catch the rest of the story a little later. Thank you. And we're back here. Wonder if that means anything, Joe. I have an itchy arm.
Oh, boy.
Joe Quinn's here. And thanks for coming on. Weights and measurements.
Great to be here, Dean.
You're the only one I know that can make weights and measurements interesting. Otherwise, it would be riveting, as Luke Connery would say, huh?
It's a very dry subject.
No pun intended.
Of course, right.
Huh?
But, you know, we try and get the word out that people are being looked after, you know, behind the scenes, of course.
Yeah, somebody's got, because you don't know, you pick up something and let's face it, some businesses take advantage of the fact that we might pick up something. The half gallon of ice cream is no longer a half gallon. And I noticed the other day, Scotch tape is become narrower.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the same amount of lineal feet, but they've cut just a slice off it. But if you add that slice up, it adds up.
A lot of the footage has been reduced, too. The measurements, you know, they're selling it, but they have to, you know, specify what you're buying, what the measurement of the commodity is.
Yeah, but we're so used to picking up a half gallon of milk or a half gallon of ice cream. We're not reading all that little print. We're just waiting to get our spoon into that ice cream. So we don't really realize what's going on here. And for competitive reasons, a lot of times, try to keep the price down when there may be increases in labor or the cost of materials. They'll have to make those decisions to decide whether or not to increase the price or maybe try to keep the price down. Or sometimes they do both. They cut back and then they increase the price.
That's how they do it. You know, it's, you know, business.
It's the way it is.
Yeah.
So I order a cord of wood. The guy shows up. He dumps it in my driveway. I'm looking at it saying, I don't know, this doesn't look like cord of wood to me. And the guy says, oh, yeah, that's a cord. And I think, yeah, no, but it doesn't look like it. Well, I don't know what a cord of wood looks supposed to look like, but I kind of think I know when you're not quite getting a cord. So is there a measurement that goes along with cord wood?
So it's 128 cubic feet. You know, that's the standard. And so, you know, with any situation like that, you know, consumers need to stack the wood. You know, they can't, you know, just pull it out of the pile. They need to stack it. Then they need to measure it if they're concerned. You know, hopefully that 4x4x8 does come out to 128, you know, cubic feet. And it works out. If they're short, and we've had the situations happen in the past, we're a phone call away. And so,
And the more reputable companies that have been around for a long time, they're not going to mess with you. They have a reputation to maintain. Generally, it's somebody that decides to get into the business to make a fast buck. And
well, mistakes are sometimes made
sure,
too.
sure.
They're going fast, rapid, and sometimes
Nobody wants their wood in June.
Right. Good point. They want seasoned wood.
Exactly.
They want a good price for it, but they want that a cord is a cord. So.
But everything's weighed today. Like, I'm amazed that everything is weighed, whether it's nails at the store, grapes. I mean, everything is weighed today. And there was a time when they said, yeah, all the produce is going to be weighed at some point, or most of it. And I'm thinking, no, come on, because everything was 2 for this, 1 for that, and a standard price. But then they went to this weight measurement, which means all of that. Things at the deli counter, the fish, it was just so many components of measurement.
And with produce, they can sell that by law. They can sell that per each.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense for a farmer or a grocer to sell it that way, because you've got different size pieces, whether it be tomatoes or whether it be that bag of potatoes. It's 5 pounds, and or in some cases 4 pounds, sometimes 10 pounds.
Yeah, and plus when you say to somebody that one tomato is $2, you're like, what? Right. Yeah, but it's $4 a pound. That thing weighs a half a pound, right?
Right.
And so for them, it's better that they say it's so much per pound rather than put a label on it saying, yeah, that tomato, all this. So it works both ways, I guess, depending on what the product is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon, for those things, people to be curious on, is this scale actually accurate? How do I know? Well, you look for the seal. They need to look for the seal. And, most
I
people...
do. When I go to the gas station, I always look. I'm like, these guys are on top of things. Sometimes I go places, it's been 2 years since somebody was, not here, but other places. I'm just curious, or other states. I'm like, it's been 2 or 3 years since anybody's been out here to check this pump.
It's scary when
you guys are on it.
When it's like that. Yeah, it's an annual inspection. Certainly the seals change color. Odd years is red. Green is for even years.
There's a method to that.
Absolutely, and you can see the dates on there on the seal, and they're stamped out on the particular month and the year when it was inspected.
So you have to measure those oil tanks that come to your home to deliver oil to your house to make sure that they're calibrated correctly, right?
Absolutely, and the city of Leominster is one of the few communities in central Massachusetts that has a certified prover, 100-gallon prover for testing and sealing oil trucks. And so, we did 58 oil trucks last year.
Wow. All in Leominster?
No, some
They could come from outside of town?
Some come from other communities to be tested here, because our capabilities are such that we can do virtually everything that we need to do for the city of Leominster. So I was out doing field inspections today, oil trucks, and so fortunately, observed the drivers doing their delivery, checked the invoice to make sure what it said on the register was
matched
what
up.
they delivered, and it had all the required information that the Mass General laws require, because we weights and measures inspectors or sealers of weights and measures enforce Massachusetts state law when it comes to food and fuel and other commodities like that.
Every register I go through, whether it's food or a Walmart or whatever, they all have a scale built into the register now.
Right.
So how many scales are there in Leominster? I mean, total. I mean, every kind of scale you can imagine. What would you say, 50 or 100, 1,000?
Well, last year we tested 266 small capacity scales to large capacity scales. So that's truck scales, like what are at, transfer stations that we have.
You go to the deli, they weigh it. You go to the fish counter, they weigh it. Everything's weighed, measured.
And those are smaller scales.
Yeah.
And so, whether it be the deli, whether it be at the checkout point of sale, all those scales are tested. And so, 266 scales. We had 23 balances. So the cannabis location or
Yeah,
the pharmacies
that's right.
all, have precision balances that they use, to sell their products.
Yeah, cough medicine or something. It'd be so many fluid ounces inside of it or
Sure,
something.
and
Right?
that's another thing that we do periodically. Didn't do a lot of it last year because of COVID, and of course, COVID, did impact us, and so it was one of those things. We battled through it. One of our inspectors, tough guy, he battled through it.
Yeah, geez, that's
survived.
scary.
It was very scary.
Scary. And he was one of the first
so,
that I knew of. And
it was one of those things that, you talked a little bit about it, and it sounded horrible. So, we made it through the year, and we had the second largest total number of devices that were tested. At over, we had 1,073 devices. 266 of those were scales. But, we had some upgrading of some of the gasoline stations, so tested them, some of them twice.
Yeah.
And it's
I always wanted so I think I know the answer to this, but when you go to, say, you get scallops or you get something at the deli, or the potato salad or something, and they take that milky white container, that plastic container that's got a lid, and then they start putting things in it. Then they put it on the scale. Am I paying for the weight of that? I know it's a tear, right? I know the
exactly.
answer, I think.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I put it
Good
on
for
there, and I know people have said, do I pay for that? And I'm like, no, right? But go ahead and explain it.
So they key in a code. You see them key in. They push the buttons there. They're keying in a code for that particular container.
Right, and it knows how much it weighs.
Exactly.
So it deducts that, so you're not paying for the weight of the container.
Even that sheet of paper, that little sheet of paper that they put down, with the meat
paper,
on it.
yeah.
Even that's one
weight.
scale division.
Really?
So
well, you add it up. If you have a big company like some of these national companies, and you start adding that up, that's
it'd be thousands of dollars.
By the end of the year, it's millions if you're.
You look at Market Basket. How busy their deli is.
Right.
We typically go there, early in the morning so we can avoid, the crowds.
Yeah, they're bumping into people.
And so, they're all tested, but all those different containers. Now, in the meat section, that's one of the things we do is, pull packages off the shelf, random testing of packaged goods, and, to make sure that they are taking the right tear, making sure they're not charging the customer for the packaging.
Now, most companies, as I said, when it comes to wood or whatever, they have a reputation to maintain. If you get caught, it doesn't look good, you can get fined. The press could get a hold of that information. Why would you want to do that, right?
Sure.
So most people, I'm sure, police themselves, and I'm certain that most of it is, if it does happen, it's an accident, and that's the other part of your job, is you can catch it so they can correct it.
Right. And that's all part of it. In the random inspections, we typically don't write fines for those. For the annual inspections, occasionally we'll go in and, last year we went in and found all the seals, all our security seals were gone at a gas station. And so, we went back and forth and, of course, they were all tested, they all tested accurate, but the checks and balances were gone. We weren't sure when they had all been removed.
Wow.
No one called us, so they were fined. And, it was lesson learned for them. And, we've had that happen in the past. Occasionally we do, price verification. That's another thing we test, is prices in the stores, department stores, grocery stores, liquor stores, to make sure what they say they're charging is what they're charging at the checkout. And, we've been very fortunate that, the stores in the city, for the most part have done very, very well. We only had 4 failures last year, and, they correct them, so
And
not
you think
a
of
lot
how
of
many
fines.
products there are. Joe Quinn's my guest, 978-534-1626. We're talking about weights and measurements. There are 3 people that work part-time as weights and measurements in the city.
Exactly.
It used to be done by Larry Poirier.
Larry Poirier did it. I mean, started off in the town of Leominster.
Yeah, right.
Jonathan White was the first.
It's the first one, huh?
Yeah, he was one of those prominent people that, you know, when Leominster was part of Lancaster initially, one of those prominent people that, you know, was instrumental in the development of Leominster.
I bet it had some power, too. Like, you feared when that weights and measurement guy, Mr. White, pulled up. Hey, wait a minute. Make sure you take that extra roll of quarters off the scale. Mr. White's here.
In those days, of course, you know, they sold hay off of scales.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of agriculture in the city.
There's a lot of
produce,
room for
course.
error, delivered or
course.
not, right? Yeah, sure.
You know, and so all of weights and measures got tightened up quite a bit. But this week, you know, why we go on television and talk about weights and measures is this week is National Weights and Measures Week. And, you know, you know, basically it was John Adams who signed into law the first regulations, federal regulations for our country, our new country in, you know, 1799. So, you know, you know, there are so many things that go on that, you know, we look at, people take for granted, of course, but, you know, people should know that, you know, we are out there looking out
Checking,
on
sure.
their behalf.
Verifying, I think. Like I said, most people are going to comply. And
Absolutely.
you're just there to verify that. So they know eventually they're going to show up. Why bother messing with the system, you know? I mean, and there are accidents and things do happen. I mean, that's
True.
That's always the case.
But I mean, for the most part, I mean, merchants that we've got in the city, you know, value their reputation, and you know, certainly they take great pride in doing the right thing. And so occasionally, you know, part of our job is to educate not only the merchants that are out there doing business, you know, on method of sale, on you know, their responsibilities in many cases, but also the public, because it's not uncommon for us to get calls, get complaints. You know, we go out and, you know, in some cases we validate the complaint, and you know, fines are written, you know, if there's a problem. But for the most part, you know, in many cases we have to go back and let them know, no, everything was on the up and up. The merchant was correct. Some things downtown, you know, some changes downtown that Fromagerie Madeleine, the new cheese shop is downtown. You know, certainly Miles Gasoline, you know, did upgrades of their you know, station on Main Street, and then they bought Dick's
Gulf.
Citgo or Gulf,
whatever it was.
You know, Texaco. You know, he had different brands of gasoline that he had over the years, but now it's a Miles Gas. It's one of only 2 full-serve gasoline stations in the city.
Where's the other one? Central Street?
The BP Central on Central Street.
Yeah. Imagine that, we're down to 2.
Down to 2.
I remember Richie Gerard, when he was mayor, was getting concerned about the fact that there were, you know, all these new gas stations and mega gas stations were opening, and there was nobody there to, you know, there was nobody there to pump gas anymore.
Right.
And you know, little did we know that over time, you know, they're always like, yeah, push this button and somebody will come out. Yeah, the same person that's running the gas is also the person that's filling the coffee machine.
Oh, yeah.
It's also the person that's trying to check customs out. Yeah, 45 minutes from now, somebody will be out. But he was worried about that, you know, 30 years ago. He was worried about the fact that there'd be no gas stations left. And here we are, a city of this size, down to 2.
We've got 19 gas stations right now in the city. 2 are full serve. Certainly, we've got a couple of locations that, you know, one has been closed for many, many years on Main Street, and then we've got the Sunoco that burnt down.
Yeah, that's
you know,
that's
Finn
a tough one,
Sunoco. So
because what replaces these is these mega. You know, they're making hamburgers inside. You know?
Right.
That's a tough one, and
Big
there's 2 people running the whole
stores.
place. And yeah, they just don't have that anymore. But I remember they were talking about passing an ordinance that there'd be so many, you know, when they give out licenses or whether that there'd be so many per whatever population, like liquor licenses of people. But little did we know, he was right. You know, he started getting concerned about this years ago.
Amazing how that goes. I saw a list that Larry Poirier had from 1970 that there were 28 gas stations in the city at that time. the largest one was where the Miles Gas location is on Main Street. That was Wilkinson's, Sunoco.
Yeah. Right where that is? Or where Dixon's?
Wilkinson's.
Yeah.
And so they had 16 meters.
Wow.
So now we've got All Town, and I think they've got 62 meters there. You know, they've got diesel, they've got a truck scale there, they've got, you know, gasoline, numerous gasoline dispensers.
That's wild.
You know, so it's amazing how that, you know, has changed over the years.
Sure.
And
Yeah, you get down, you get a little more south there, you get into Pennsylvania or New Jersey, they got those Wawas down there.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, these guys own their own farms, they have their own milk, you can get a sirloin steak just about inside and it's a gas station,
Oh,
you know, it's
sure.
amazing.
yeah, and they're catering to, you know, truckers and, you know, the massive populations that are going through
Yeah,
a
it's volume and-
particular area, right? Volume. So
Do
yeah,
we forget anything, Joe? I don't want to leave without forgetting anything.
no, I think you know, just the biggest thing for your viewers, for your constituents, is to know that, you know, we, you know, the 3 weights and measures inspectors for the city of Leominster are out there, you know, looking out for them, and you know, we're a phone call away if they have issues. You know, that we always follow up on, you know, any kind of consumer complaints or, you know, concerns.
All right, Joe, thanks. Joe Quinn, and representing the entire department. They're doing a great job. I never have to worry about it's hands off. It's like, yeah, tell me if I need to know something. And what was that? Something, it's going down. It's the big one. Are the raviolis on or something? Does Tina letting you know the raviolis are on? That's important stuff around here. All right, taking a short break. And we'll be right back here at Inside Leominster. And thanks again, Joe, for coming on with us every year. We look forward to that because, like I said, you're the only one that can make weights and measurements interesting. All right, we're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Inside Leominster, my name is Dean Mazzarella. I'm the mayor of the city of Leominster, and look at that aerial shot of inside Leominster. Ronnie's to my left, Bradley's to the right. I can see Wayne in there. Is Keith in there? I didn't see Keith today. Keith? Hey, there's Keith. And Alan was here a little while ago, and Carl got the signal that the Ravs are ready, and that was the 1 hour warning to let them know that let's go to the phones because we got a phone call, and then we're going to come back and we'll update you on everything that's happening vaccine-wise and COVID-19. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on out there today?
Not much.
Not much.
Work was good.
I was there last night.
Oh, yeah, did you congratulate Starlin?
I went the wrong way down one of the lanes. I was supposed to. I used the wrong arrow. So
That's okay.
what I did is instead of walking down it, once I realized I was incorrect in the wrong lane, Wayne, I walked backwards. Does that count?
Huh?
Yeah, does that count? So the front of me was facing the right direction. No, I was just.
Did you congratulate Starlin? I told you Starlin made it a Star Award.
No, I was there late. It wasn't many people around last night. It was a quiet night at the 118 Lancaster Street,
You asked them how am I doing?
aisle 7. It's very quiet out there. I
You
did
asked them
walk.
how much-
I did walk by the ice cream aisle, Mr. Ron, but I'm on that beet salad diet, and I walked by. I walked by the ice cream section, and I walked by it again, and I walked away, and then I walked by. But I ended up leaving with broccoli. How's that? Huh, Ron?
What-
You can have ice cream, just sugar-free.
Sugar-free. Doesn't taste like anything.
It does. It's got to use your
That's
imagination.
the only reason anybody eats ice cream is
So,
because
but
it's.
now you're going to bring Nana to the store, Hanford's.
Yeah, she speeds in there though. she moves the carriage around too fast.
I'm coming to your grand opening.
You
ribbon
are?
cutting tomorrow. Yep.
All right.
Oh yeah, and Jillian's birthday is March 25th. You
All
wanna do
right,
something for her
Jillian.
birthday?
March 26th. I know a lot of people whose birthday is in March.
And your troublemaker Brian's listening too.
Oh
we
no,
want to tell him.
we're really in trouble now.
All right.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All
10-4.
right. Thank you,
Bye.
Crystal.
Bye.
There we go.
Bye.
534-1626. Easy number to remember. 978-534-1626. Lots to talk about. Much going on. Again, let me just check here to see if there's any updates. Give me 1 second, because while we're on, we could be getting updates. And let's see. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't appear to be anything different. But when I left, they were so we got official word today. I don't know. I want to say just around noon, just before noon, and the link, because you need the link to be able to register people. So what we've spent our time doing is calling people 75 and older, and asking them. I said this before, but I'll say it just in case they're joining us. Making sure they're okay, making sure that they have all the information they need to make a decision on the vaccine, to understand the difference of the different vaccines, and then also to see if they're interested in getting the vaccine. And then the last part is that we have the vaccines available to them tomorrow. So just under 400 vaccines available for tomorrow. Between Leominster and Fitchburg. We've been working back and forth with Fitchburg and Leominster, and we have a state-appointed person who's our liaison that's been working with us, Jenna. She's great, and she's working with not only us, but the whole region, and it's going well. So tomorrow, we have scheduled, I think, at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. There might be still some available, but our staff at City Hall, our team, stayed after 4 o'clock. From what I understand, they're still on the phones. So if you get a phone call from a number that's a 534 number, pick it up, answer it. A couple of people, now the J&J one's coming out. So I did hear and did talk to a few people today who said, I think I'm going to wait for the single shot. That's fine. But they're going through the list. Now, should we get through the 75 and older list, then there is another list that they're going to start from, and then it begins to hit 74 and 73. They're going to call as many of those as possible. Now, it looks like we're going to have a steady stream of vaccines in the Leominster-Fitchburg area. Now, it was stated earlier today, I had read in the newspaper that somebody had said that the mall is not big enough. It can only handle 250 vaccines. Not the case at all. We did 250 vaccines. That was when we did public safety, but not the case. We can do more than that. So anyway, I think we've got that resolved, and the owners of the mall flew in the other day. We had a nice meeting talking about the future of the mall. They're not going to be tearing down the mall. They have plans for the mall. They are seasoned veterans in this business. There won't be a switch that you hit and all of a sudden the mall is going to come back to what it was. But they are calculated. They understand the environment that they're in, and plans are on the way for our mall, and they're not walking away from it. They're not going to let it sort of slip into obscurity where it's just one of those malls that nobody takes care of and it's not clean anymore, and you can walk in and kind of feel it. But things are changing, and they know I have a task of bringing foot traffic back to the mall, and things will change, and the dynamics and the old days of the mall have changed, and it will continue to change and evolve, and the owners of the mall will evolve with it. But there's no magic switch, and it isn't going to hit a switch, and all of a sudden everything is back to what it was. And retail is changing. And there are times when we want to shop and go and touch and feel. And I know I'm one of those people that I wouldn't buy a pair of shoes online. In fact, I don't think I've ever bought anything online, to be honest with you. And and so, and there are times when people don't have time. They just want to buy something, have it delivered. Then there are times they get to the store and you know what? I like these so much, I'd like to get 3 pair. Well, okay, we only have 1, but we'll ship the other 2. So Omni is part of retailing. It's not going to change, but nothing will take away the old-fashioned European feel of getting out and shopping with a friend or a family member. That isn't going to change, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen every day, and it doesn't mean there are other options, right? I mean, think about it. We actually started. Where's Carl? Carl's back there somewhere? Carl went for the raviolis? Carl's back in the executive suite. Anyway, I think many of you can remember, at one time, lots of things were delivered, right? Jack Wexler would come to your house and sell you clothing. Mr. Dignard would come by and sell you toys in his station wagon, beach wagon. We had a couple of soda companies, right, Ron? A couple tonic companies that would come to your house. And milk, how many? Lou Tossi did this incredible display at the Historic Society of all the different farms in Leominster and actually in the area, and all those that used to, right? You had the little milk container outside your house, and they would come and leave milk, and then you'd get up in the morning and little ice on it, and right? So there were a lot of things that were delivered to people's houses. Food. So at one time, there were places like, I'm not sure Bobo's did it, but there were a number of stores around town where you could call in your order and they would deliver it. So home delivery is not anything new, it's just when it's cycle. So one time things were home delivered, and that seemed to drift away because then there were stores that you could go to and they're open later and all of that. And here it is now. It's coming back, and it comes back in a bigger way. And so there are a whole lot of things. There are a whole lot of things that are go to your home. There are sort of grab and go. So it's not going to change, though. That's that still that feel that you want to go out and shop with a friend, as I said, or a relative, and spend a day and get something to eat. That's not going to go away, and it's just going to change. It will change. Shopping will change a little bit. There'll be more options. So anyway, okay. So anyway, that's what's going on as we speak. Let's see. All appointments have been booked. Nice job. That is amazing. I'll tell you, my crew at City Hall, and Nancy and Melissa and Michelle and Diana and Wendy and Kelly and I mean, they just, emergency management, Deb and Jim and other volunteers, they just pounded this thing. I mean, they were relentless all week long. And then today we had little window till we could get that link, because until we had that link, we couldn't call anybody and get their information. So we got on the phones immediately, immediately. Nobody went to lunch, nothing. And stayed, and as of right now, I'm getting a report, all appointments are now booked for the mall. But don't panic, because there'll be more available coming next week, and we've got the J&J, and I think that what we're going to see now is more and more and more of the vaccine coming. So be patient. In the meantime, don't let your guard down. This is certainly no time to claim victory and to let your guard down. I'll go back to what I said originally. Assume everything you touch is somehow or another compromised. And that's the way it should be forever. I was thinking the other day, I'm going to wear my mask when cold and flu season. I'm going to. Those little face things there between me and the register when I go to pay something, I kind of like that. They've been designed, a company in Leominster. New England Wire is probably the leader in the state for producing those shields, and made a significant donation to the city and the schools. you know what? We got to start thinking about the fact that you go to, aisle 12 at the drugstore and they sell everything in the world. And the reality is you have the virus, you have a cold, you got it. I don't care what medicine you took. That just stops all that stuff that's coming out of your nose from coming out. It didn't stop the virus or kill the virus at all. So you know what? This has all made us think a little bit differently. I don't want your cooties. I don't think you want mine. Assume that everybody has the virus and treat it that way. Keep your distance 6 feet apart. It's become ingrained in us. And we've got to carry on. And remember, they got to get to 80% of the people or 85% of the people across America before we can really sort of rest. And so anyway, we're getting to the 75 and older, the 65 and older with 2 or more comorbidities. Teachers will be vaccinated at CVS. Good for them. Talked to so many teachers over this time. And, there are teachers, and you know what? Teacher doesn't have to, we have HIPAA laws. A teacher doesn't have to say, hey, listen, I have asthma, or I have a health concern. That's not required. It's actually a violation of the law for you to sort of spread that information about somebody's personal health concerns. And so having said that, there are teachers who have somebody at home that maybe is living with them, a parent, maybe they have a child, and they're worried about it. So I'm glad that they're getting vaccinated. Students, students are heading back to school and enjoying every second of it. And there are some students, I think it's 50% of the students that are back in, 50% of the time, and then there are 50% of the students who are home and doing well, from what I understand. And with remote learning, it's for some kids, and other kids it's not. So. Anyway, we're going to, and I just got word from Micron. They are a company that we've been working with that donated a ton of masks and other equipment. They have said that they are now authorized. They are now authorized to administer the vaccine, and and we're like on the top of their list. So we could have multiple locations at the mall before we're through with this, so that we can do more than 750 or 250 people per day. 978-534-1626. Just a big shout out. Local kid, Chris Walsh. He is the publisher of this wonderful magazine. It's called 50 Grand. And I'll tell you why it's interesting. First of all, it's good qualities, a mixture of large print, and also lots of pictures, but graphics are excellent. But it's the stories about places in America you'll never hear about that are really interesting, and a hometown feel. I saw his dad today, and he said, do you notice this hometown feel in here? And I said, absolutely, I do. And just a wonderful, it's you can get online, 50grand.com, and it's a biannual travel magazine that explores the United States. And it's $14 an issue, but you know what? I picked up some magazines over the holiday season, and I couldn't believe how much magazines. This one's $14, well worth it. You'll keep it around the house, you'll share it, done by a local kid. And it's really done well, and you'll read it. You won't read just a couple of stories in here. I equate to something like Yankee Magazine or something, and the stories are so good that you'll want to visit these communities. And there's not a one in here that I've seen a story about or ever heard about. They're really obscure places that are really interesting. And I like the subtitle, which is The Underrated Issue. I think that's good. Okay, let's see what we can talk to you about. We still don't have state numbers. Let's check back at the, to see if we have state numbers yet. Let's see. Yeah, I know where Lauren is. Lauren, yeah, it's an interesting week for her. Let's see. Yes, Lake Placid, right? I always wanted to go there, Lake Placid. How much snow you got out there at Lake Placid? Let's see if she's respond here. Let's see. How much snow in Lake Placid? For some reason, I still got Joe going on my video. Hey, interesting though, huh? How many church events you can see and how many things you can see on TV or streaming that you never could see before. St. Cecilia is so remarkable. St. Anna's, lots of these churches streaming. And so, I remember my grandfather couldn't get to church anymore and watched it on TV. That was a big thing. And now you can be anywhere. So parishioners or former parishioners that maybe can't get to some of the churches because they don't live around here anymore. It's just like being back in Leominster, back at their neighborhood church. So there it goes. Okay, we're going to wrap it up in 10 minutes. So if you have any questions at all about anything, 978-534-1626. It's March 4th. That's true, but we repeat the show during the course of the week. We are starting construction on our new streetscape, and that's in front of Rollstone Bank, in front of Caldwell Bankers Real Estate Company, in front of The Fix, Juicy Burgers at The Fix, and it's going to be beautiful. Wait till you see when it's done, and it'll have a whole nother look to the downtown. The city also has a grant. What we'll do is take a snapshot of exactly where our downtown is, how we look, where new businesses are coming and all of that, and take a snapshot, and then look at what's the next step for the downtown. I have spoke in many times about how I'd love to see more housing in the downtown so it's more walkable. As people get older and maybe give up their automobile, younger people, remember all of us rushing down to the registry to get our permit book so we could take our exam exactly with like 16 and a half. We ran down there, took driver's ed, ran down there, signed up, got our learner's permit, and the second we were 17 years old, you could get it at 16 and a half, right? So as soon as we were old enough, we run down there and get our license. Today, some kids are like, not so excited about it. I drive my bike around or a motorcycle or a scooter. It's not the number one thing for them anymore. Besides, it's very expensive to get insurance, very expensive to get an automobile. So a case for more dwelling units and apartments and living space in our downtown area. But there are still more stores that we'd like to see come downtown, still more businesses. There's not much space left, really, but as space turns over, we ask periodically. There's a new cheese store in Leominster. There's a new liquidator store in Leominster downtown at 41 Main Street. We have a record store opening, although he keeps pushing the date ahead. First it was January, then February, now it's summer, June. And I'm going to hold him to it. I'm like, no, June, when we have our summer stroll, you have to be open for that. So lots going on, and people spending a lot of money, not just opening a storefront, but significant investment in their businesses. All right, so what do we got to tell you? Testing sites, UMass Health Alliance, Reliant Mall at Whitney Field, CVS Mill Street, CVS Electric Ave, Carewell, all doing testing. So if you feel you need one, call your doctor, physician, healthcare provider, and let them know. And we want you to understand that you can go to these various websites that the state has and sign up for a vaccine. You may have to travel. That's why we're offering them. I think CVS is offering them. So is Health Alliance and Reliant offering vaccines. And added to that list is Hannaford's, both at Twin City and Lancaster Street 118. Let's see what else we can find for you that is of note and interesting. The weather is beginning to change. It's going to be a little unseasonably cool, but no rain or snow this weekend. And then on Monday, things pick up. And guess what, Wayne? You know that get your motorcycle out, and I'll be getting my two-piece bathing suit out because I got to get it ready. It won't be long. It'll be in the high 50s next week. It's going to feel like 90. And that to me is exciting. Update you on schools. Thus far this year, since June, we put the budget together. This means $13.185 million. So that's $13,185.43 that the school department has to spend because it is more difficult today to operate and more expensive. So that's a good portion of funding that they'll have. Don't forget, if you're struggling with fuel and you need some assistance, don't be too proud, because the way the program works is you might need help today. You get back on your feet. You do not need help any longer. And hell, what? maybe you send in $5 a week during the cold season to help somebody else out. 978-534-7500. Thanks to the emergency management the other day, Leominster Fire Department, et cetera. Had a small incident where you live over there, Ron?
Yes, we did.
And I understand they got the place cleaned up, and they're back in, I think.
Actually, 1 or 2 of this.
Still out?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, emergency management, fire department responded. They worked so well together. Got them temporary housing in a hotel, get them the food, anything they needed. And that's a real benefit to the city of Leominster to have such a system where if there is something that happens in your house, whether it's flooding, a fire, whatever might happen, and you're temporarily displaced, fire department, emergency management, and our team will step in along with the Red Cross and step in and make it seamless for you, right? You've been through enough, and the last thing that you need to do is be shuffling around, trying to find temporary locations and food and vouchers for clothing. And thanks to them, they kick into action immediately. Immediately they're there. No messing around. Hey, the pizza crawl. So my beet diet, I'm getting ready. And I'm getting ready because the pizza crawl is coming up March 21st to the 27th. You can eat pizza on the keto diet, right?
Well, not really. But
No.
I'm making an exception for this one.
Well, I mean, everything's cauliflower now. You have cauliflower ice cream.
Cauliflower pizza, I make my own.
Is that in the keto diet?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. So take your cauliflower pizza down and put a little sauce on it. That can't kill anything. A little bit of cheese, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A diet's got to be common sense, right? You want it to be sustainable, right?
It's just eating in moderation.
Life in moderation. And look at Ron. He's fading away to nothing. It's remarkable. You look great, Ron. I can tell you that. You look like $1 million. But $1 million's nothing today. $2 million you look like. Dress sporty, you match, you got all the color scheme going on. Hey, Rocky's on ice over at Rockwell Pond. It's a fundraiser for our veterans. So, you know what? I think it's going to warm up next week. He's not going to fall in next week. I think the following week. So go to leovets.org or call City Hall. We'll get you some tickets. You can guess the time and date when he's going to fall in. You win a minimum of $500. $500. You know what we can get for $500 at the dollar store? You could probably buy the whole store. But $500. $500, Wayne. That's a lot of money. So, and it's a good cause because our veterans give back all the money, every penny goes back to the community and helping veterans. What else do we have to tell you? For your 75 and older, not only do you get a shot, but on Wednesdays, you get to go to the Registry of Motor Vehicles and they push everybody out of line and say, okay, you over there, please. I get 75 and older, and they need to renew their license. You do need to make an appointment. It's mass.gov/RMV. What else do we have to talk about? I guess we're going to get, where's Carl? Digger Odell, Carl. All right, so I don't have the new numbers for you. I apologize for that. I'll check one more time. I know we try to get the most updated numbers to you, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen today, so we'll post them later on. Hey, there it is. Another email that I get from the magazine, Chris Walsh. He's doing a survey, and he wants to know where the majority of people are going to travel this year. Pretty good, and it's honestly, if you could afford $14 per issue, well worth it. Okay, hey, it's been a busy week. I want to thank everybody, thank all of you, because we have boots on the street, which means not only are we watching where those vaccine sites are and where they are available, but you're out there. We've got all these ambassadors out there helping us. And you know what? When they find something, they call us immediately when we get on the phone and tell people, hey, head to this site. And it's really made a big improvement. We're out of time here at Inside Leominster. I want to thank the whole crew. Thank you for watching. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night, and God bless you.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated.
This is LTV.